Let's see if the audio is working and get rolling. Let's see. All right. Let's see if the audio is working and get rolling. Let's see. Let's see if the audio is working. Get rolling. Let's see. All right. Hello. To anybody that's watching, there's two people. I don't know who you are, but I get the stats. Hey, so I actually crashed the other night and couldn't stream the night before, which also meant that I forgot to save the document and shut down my computer, and I lost at least 600 words of progress. Anyhow, as Bob Ross would say, there's no mistakes. There's only happy accidents. I don't know if I'm positive. I'm pessimistic enough, optimistic enough. Sorry, what's wrong with me? I'm a little nervous. I actually get pretty nervous on camera. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why you see me not pick my nose, but pinch my nose. It just gets itchy when I'm nervous. Anyhow, okay, let's get started. So the idea is, I've been writing to anybody who watches later, or this is just content that I'm gonna push out. This is a project that I'm doing because it's high time that I've always wanted to write, and the problem has always been to develop like a routine where I could start writing. There's I've been writing all my life, but that's mostly been nonfiction. Proposals and reports. They always pay the bills. But I've always wanted to write nonfiction, fiction, and here I am. I decided one day that I'm gonna start streaming on live streaming my writing sessions, just sort of to get into the groove of things, and it's been working out pretty well. I've been streaming for pretty close to 10 days now, and it's been an interesting learning experience. Um, as a matter of fact, I've actually learned so much about writing fiction. In this past week, I've learned more in the past week than I did in the past. I don't know. I've been reading extensively, but that's just research, and it doesn't really come into play until I actually start writing. Um, yeah. So, just a bit of a background on the story. The story is about this guy who goes to Sheikhupura, which is a town close to Lahore, about 40 minutes drive. It has one of the most haunted sites in Pakistan, to the point where they've actually sealed off one of the forts that belonged to the Mughals in the 1600s. Legend has it along the fort, inside the fort, they've actually seen um, a woman in a white dress, which is pretty stereotypical, and also a headless man, not a horseman, just FYI. a headless man and a woman in a white dress. Um, One of my favorite YouTubers, they're Pakistani YouTubers. Their content is in Urdu. I'll still share a link to their recent video because somehow they do inspire me to write about these. The story's sort of inspired by what they do because pretty much the entire lockdown I spent other than working and sleeping, I actually spent quite a lot of time binge watching their channel. It's in Urdu, so not a lot of people will get it, but it's to whoever that knows Urdu and can watch, is interested in a ghost hunting show. These guys do a very good job. It's interesting. Anyhow, covering after the background, what have we covered so far? Okay, this is what happens when you wing it, but then again, I need to wing it, otherwise I get too nervous and then I just end up not streaming or not writing at all. So this is more of a personal effort to be a little more confident on camera. I don't have troubles being meeting people in person or picking up conversations, but as soon as you put a camera to my face, it's yeah. So that's enough of the intro. Yeah, so there's another monument close to the fort. It's around a lake, and that's where the Mughals used to go hunting. And it's called Hidden Minar, which is a minaret named after an antelope. This was one of the Mughal emperors, his pet antelope, who died. The antelope was actually trained to lure game animals towards the lake, so that they could hunt them, which is not something that I really appreciate. But yeah, so moving forward, about this story, this guy just goes on a vacation. He hops on a bus. After several revisions, it's come to a point where I just start the story with a scene from him walking into a motel and just checking in. And he wakes up all itchy, scratchy, primarily because he has been bitten by ants. Now, I did some research there. Fire ants are known to cause hallucinations in some people. Anyhow, he gets up, he notices a pair of eyes, and he gets lured. Next thing he knows, he's outside the motel room, and he's actually floating midair, and he's being taken, and his mind just it's almost like he's high. And then he is finally, when reality kicks in, he's in the middle of, he's almost being sucked into a portal of fire. The name of the story is The Bait, A Journey to Doom, which is pretty much connected to Mansraj. That was the name of the antelope. Yeah, rambling again. Rambling again. So Mansraj was the name of the antelope that belonged to one of the Mughal emperors that was trained to lure game animals into near the lake so that they could be killed or hunted, whatever euphemism you want to use. It is what it is. So yeah. And so the story, I didn't want to be like, I just wanted to take inspiration from the story and not just steal the idea and have like a ghost antelope lure somebody in. So right now the guy's clueless. It's just a pair of eyes, very big eyes that have that actually just sort of dance, and then there's this fragrance and there's music playing, and then he's just being lured into it. He gets saved by a man the next morning, almost when he's just about to get into the portal of fire. He gets saved by a guy who drops him back to the motel room. He wakes up in the motel room all achy and full of scratches. one of the concierge from the motel at the motels actually have a concierge. But yeah, that's my story. It's gonna be edited eventually before I publish it. So yeah, this guy at the motel helps him out, and he gets so we still haven't named the guy, which is another thing that I need to work on. But the main character actually ends up going to take a shower where he hurts himself, almost has a near death experience, and that's when when he's like about to die because he can feel his body jitter. He gets pulled out of the jaws of death. Thank you, Mary. She's a friend of mine who sort of helped me the last time I was on live stream. Said, yeah, you could say pulled him out of the jaws of death, and I'm like, yeah, the guy was about on the verge of death, and he got pulled out. So the funny thing, the spooky side is the guy gets pulled up, and then when he looks at whoever pulled him out of the out of this near death experience, is somebody who's dressed up. Who's a guard, but he's dressed up in a very archaic, old school kind of uniform, which is funny. And as soon as he's about to ask him something, what's going on, the guy disappears. The concierge comes in, and everybody's all, confused. The guy goes out again, leaves a motel room. That's what happens in spooky stories and horror movies. There's always somebody who's stupid and stubborn enough to go looking for answers instead of just running away and just saving their lives and have a normal life like everybody else. So this guy goes back. He runs into the old man that saved him the night before. They go to the lodge. That's the part. So my last streaming session was in my last streaming session I wrote close to 600 words, and I lost all of it. So I'm not gonna bore you with that, but it was a pretty mellow scene. It just ends up going to this guy who saved him, his savior's home. The savior is a landlord in the nearby area. That's where he goes. He ends up there. Blah blah blah. And come to think of it, I'm actually sounding like one of my favorite booktubers, Britta Bowler. And that's how she talks too. I don't know. So, yeah. Anyhow, moving forward, now that he's in the lodge, I'm just going to add in a few, I might just skip, I might just, in the finished product, I may just not add what I wrote the last time because it was just too boring. I could either try and rewrite what I wrote, or just add in a little snippet and just save you guys the trouble of reading through an atrocious scene where he's just not an atrocious scene, but a boring scene of him just walking to the old man. The old man's name is Ajmal Khan, by the way, and that's what I wrote last time. Sardar Ajmal is the landlord, and this is gonna be what's gonna connect the two writing sessions. They go to his home farm, and that's it. Okay, I'm gonna save you guys the trouble. Anyhow, just wondering, let's see if there's somebody that's watching. There's somebody watching on Twitch, and whoever that is, it really means a lot. And let's see who else. Let's see if there's some activity on Facebook. Okay. I hate it on Facebook. Interesting. So I'm not gonna waste a lot of your time. There's Amanda, Amna, and Mustafa Shirani. Of course, they've left because it doesn't show here anymore. And yeah. Anyhow, I've all right. Somebody like a comic. It's just I don't know why I'm doing this on live stream. It's just something because I know for a fact there's not a lot of people watching, so I actually can take the liberty to just goof around a little before I actually start writing. Of course, if there were somebody, if there's somebody watching out of respect for them, I would not waste their time and just get into writing because that's what they came here for. All right, let's get it started. Yeah, let's start some spooky music. Get me into the groove, and let me confirm if it's working or not. Because OBS tends to. I'm still trying to learn how to figure out how to work OBS. Okay, all systems go. Ready for takeoff. I hate airplanes, by the way. Anyhow. Too much detail, but I'll look at it later. I'm just trying to make Ajmal like a nice fatherly figure who's caring, but he's like a person that demands respect and exercises a lot of authority. So that's like the image I have of this landlord who's nice and kind, but at the same time he's very stern. That's why he doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, it's always comforting to hear from him. Okay. Hate it when these things pop up. Okay, so Munsraj. All right, there's a moment as there's his words. Let's see if I can figure out a nice name for this lodge. Any suggestions if somebody's watching, which of course, my audience engagement isn't good enough. But yeah. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. let's just leave it for later. Can't find anything. So, we'll stay here. This is too much detail once again. So, I toured the town and... I checked into Green Man. Let's see if I can remember one of these places, that these rusty, crusty motels on on road trips. There's like a ton of them in Pakistan because I grew up going on road trips every year, and every now and then we would just end up having to check into a motel just because because of bad weather, or maybe the car just broke down. I grew up taking road trips with my mom and dad and my brother, all the way from Quetta to Multan. That's where my grandfather was. Every winter. It was one of the nicest experiences, to be honest. And I still remember my earliest memory of having to, being forced to check into a motel because there was a crazy thunderstorm. A crazy thunderstorm. Yeah. And I still remember the lightning, sitting in the car, and it's dark everywhere, and then all of a sudden the sky lights up. And I still remember my eldest cousin was with me, and we were in the car. It's all pitch black. Everything is black, right? It's the middle of the night, and it's raining. All we hear is thunder and rain, okay? And we can't cross. I think we were at a bridge or something, and all of a sudden the sky just lights up. Crazy. And it was almost like, and I think it was the sound was so loud it felt like lightning had struck somewhere. It was really scary. And then we ended up checking into a nearby motel. It was a pretty basic one, but hey, we needed a roof over our head, and so there you have it, an interesting memory of mine. Sorry. So, ow. I keep forgetting. Got myself pierced just 2 months ago, and the cartilage still healing, and ow, that hurt. Anyhow, back. Ear is really hurting. Sorry to be wasting your time. Okay. Sort of readjusted the ear. Anyhow, going back. So I checked into here. The next. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead. The next thing I know, I wake up to. Ants, fire ants, biting into me. No, the next thing I wake up. Okay, we did cover this part in like I did write the whole scene. I don't know if I should be quoting it again or not. So let me just highlight this with a nice turquoise color. And yeah. Yeah, but he hasn't told Ajmal that story. So I don't think a single sentence would make much of a difference. Hard to say, but I guess I'm just gonna stick to it. Maybe edit it out later, but yeah, we're good for now. Today I wake up all achy and scratched. I take a shower only to fall down and break my nose and literally choke on my own blood. Until this weird guard, dressed in an old school uniform, pulls me up. So I'm just gonna copy and paste the Wikipedia entry. Let me post a link to the Wikipedia entry just so anybody who watches is interested, they can check it out. So this is where the story is based, loosely. Part of it. Just use it as information. Alright, so here's let's just put it in. Okay, so Hudgwell's eyes show a slight move, but the guide definitely is the epitome of composure. That's it. Can I get some answers now? He gets up, a grave expression on his face, looks out the window and sighs. Apparently, he's collecting his thoughts. He gestures me to follow him along a staircase. Next to the motel is a minaret called Hidden Minaj. Memorial for who? Emperor Jahangir, Mughal Emperor Jahangir's pet antelope. What the hell? What's with my typos? Mansiraj. Are you telling me dead antelope is trying to kill me? But how would he know? Nah. Are you telling me there's an antelope spirit around there? I asked. Was built in 1606, so close to 400 years. So the Sheikhupura Fort is known to be a haunted place. It was built in 1606. And has officially been sealed off primarily because of paranormal activity. Yeah. So let's see. That was built in 1607. It is near the Hidden Minad, which is the tomb of the antelope. Antelope's tomb. Ugh. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take a tiny little break. I just need to get a bite or something. I'm not sure. Get in the fridge. So I'll be right back. Let me just edit this. I'll see you in about 10 minutes. I'm just taking a tiny little break. I apologize for that, but I just don't want to end this stream and start up again. I just want one big episode. So yeah, I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I'm back. All right, so a little more relaxed. Hungry. So here's what the way I laid out the story was it just starts with something that sort of builds that some suspense where he's checked into the motel room, and I didn't really. It wasn't until the end of the story that I mentioned the background, sort of like, because now that hopefully I've grabbed somebody's attention to the story, they'll be able to connect the dots. So yeah, this is some pattern that I've noticed with a lot of books that I've read in the past 2 years. I've been reading extensively, so yeah, this is one pattern that I noticed. They didn't really, they they didn't really give out the details, so they didn't start from square one. They actually started from square five, just to captivate the reader, and then work their way not even backwards. Or it was always quite a bit of a jumble, but one pattern that I did notice. So instead of going from square one to five, with 10 being the last one, they start with square five, and then they go from square one, and then on their way forward. Every now and then they sort of skip between squares, and yeah, I'm just rambling now. So from what I've read about the fort is that during one of the wars, when it someone explain. Let me just pick out. My reference and so there's a Tribune article about it. Let me share it in the chat. To whoever's that's watching my stream on Twitch, you're really consistent, persistent. I mean, or in a nice way. You continue to watch me, unless you're somebody that I don't want to talk to. I don't know. creeped out, but I don't know if I should be. It's nice that somebody's watching. I just hope it's not somebody that I want to avoid. So, just in case you are somebody that I want to avoid, fuck you. And if you're somebody that I is just interested in what I'm doing right now and has no connection to me whatsoever in the past, thank you. I do have a bunch of stalkers. No, not ex-girlfriends. But somebody in the family that a few people in the family that I'm just avoiding. I'm better off without them. So, I pulled out the Tribune article that I just pasted in the comment section. So, So, I'm just going to read through the article. It says, reportedly in 2010, the United States government announced a joint restoration project with the federal government, but after the 18th amendment to the Constitution of Pakistan, the archaeology department was transferred to the provinces, and the project was shelved. In 2017, the Punjab government, which is the province where this is where Sheikhupura is, the Punjab government approved another project to renovate the fort, prepare necessary documents to protect it from rainwater and floods, blah, 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 blah. But history repeated itself and the project was never completed. Yet again, in the financial year 2019-2020, 10 million were allocated, blah, blah, blah. Several parts of the fort have collapsed and many chambers are now inaccessible. The formidable walls stand tall with diamond-shaped parapets that catch the eye from far away. The 10 bastions have also survived the torments of the past and the present. On the There's no history. What the hell? So it's just the villagers that are saying it, but the place has been sealed off. And towards the end of the 17th century, six established their empire across Punjab, and the fort was redecorated as per the requirements of their royalty. Some mansions were also built inside the fort to accommodate the new emperors. Nah. There was a spookier article about it. So, yeah, there's a Steemit article, Steemit post. To anybody that doesn't know what Steemit is, it's the first blogging platform that's based on a blockchain. I don't know why they would use blockchain technology to host content, especially, blogs. But the more traffic you get, you actually end up earning some of their currency, which is Steemit. And and then you can sort of cash them. Anyhow, going to the Steemit post. If you go through this blog post, you'll see a lot of pictures of the place, but then again, Okay, another interesting post that I did read. I just couldn't find it. So one of the British, all right, Sir Henry Montgomery Lawrence, the resident of British government in Punjab, had suggested to the Governor General that His Highness be banished from Punjab. On his recommendation, the young Maharaja Dalip Singh was sent away to Shalimar Garden, which is in Lahore, from the place in the Lahore fort to the Maharani, and the Maharani was imprisoned at Sheikhupura fort. So okay, the Maharani, the empress or the queen, was actually kept here as a prisoner, and her son was taken away from her. And she wrote, "You have snatched my son from me. In the name of God you worship, and in the name of the king whose salt you eat, restore my son to me. I cannot bear the pain of this separation. I shall reside in Sheikhupura. I shall not go to Lahore. Send my son to me. I will come to you at Lahore only during the days when you hold Darbad, which is, I don't know, it's hard to describe for me right now. It's too late in the night. On that day, I will send him. A great deal of injustice has been done to me. A great deal of injustice has been done to my son also. You have accepted that what other people have said. Put an end to it now. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. So, one of the empresses was imprisoned at the fort. Apparently, that should be the reason why it's haunted. So, yeah, let's go. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. I've clocked in. Sorry. I've been streaming for about an hour, 38 minutes. Once again, thank you for anybody that joined in or would probably watch later. And I don't think I need to do a recap, do I? So I'll just reread it, or maybe I'll read it tomorrow. Yeah, because I've got to figure out how to structure my live stream so they don't get repetitive. So to anybody that's gone through the writing, I think they know what it's like. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I just misspelled imprisoned. So, yeah, I'm gonna recap it tomorrow. So far, I've done like close to 400 words in the past hour and 40 minutes. I am gonna make sure I save this so I don't lose any progress, unlike last time. And yes, I think yeah, I kind of like enjoy leaving it at a cliffhanger. I don't know. I'm no Game of Thrones director, but I do know a thing or two about building suspense. So, all right. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for anybody that joined in, and thank you so much to anybody who will watch it later. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye bye.